go home without your guitars, I guess. What, you think I'm joking? Nope. Lamfin regrets to inform you that at this year's Winter NAMM 2025 event, all of our guitars that were on display were stolen.
That is so sad.
Lamfin is offering a reward for any information that leads to a conviction and or the return of the guitars. 11 instruments. How do you steal 11 instruments?
Yeah,
Was it one
exactly.
person? Was it 11 people? Nobody fucking knows anything. There are cameras in the convention center. You will occasionally spot one, but apparently that's some third-party monitoring system that NAMM doesn't even have access to.
What?
And obviously NAMM doesn't own the Anaheim Convention Center. NAMM just rents it
Right.
out for a week a year. How can you let 11 guitars be stolen from one booth, one high-end, unique one-of-one custom from another booth? I don't know if that's all. I haven't checked if that's all. It probably isn't. Some shit probably gets lost all the time. And there is no
I bet.
security footage of it happening. And you can't expect people to pack up fucking 12 guitars every single night and take them back to a hotel or
Unfortunately, I guess it looks like they have to now.
an Airbnb and then load them in again the next morning before the show floor
It
opens.
looks like they
Nobody
have
does that.
to.
Nobody should have to do that.
They shouldn't have to, but this just keeps happening. It's like airport security. You would assume that, the security wouldn't steal stuff out of your bag, but they do. It's crazy. It's insane.
Because there should be a camera filming the place. What?
And it's a common issue, which is mind-boggling to me.
Am I stupid? And this is not to
No,
mention
you're not
the
stupid.
fact that NAMM sort of lied about a bunch of big guitar companies coming back. Now, not
What?
lied directly, but for instance, PRS was supposed to be back. That was announced. I saw no PRS, but then Fender, Gibson, and Marshall was supposed to be back, and the only one that followed through properly on being back
Was
was Marshall.
Fender.
They had an amazing booth. It was a
Oh yeah. Well, Marshall. Oh yeah, Marshall did have a pretty good sized booth. Yep, that's true. The Marshall did have a pretty good sized booth, and they're close by with Ibanez, and yeah, and they had some talented performers. I think probably people that they sponsored that are fairly famous. They were there.
a great display. They constantly had performances going on by people
Yeah.
like Kiki Wong, Fluff, whatever. That shit was awesome. The Marshall booth ruled. I loved it. Fender went upstairs near Yam.
Okay, Fender. I'm sorry. Listen. Okay, here's the thing. From my observation, from what I experienced, I go up there. I see the Fender part. I'm like, okay, cool. I walk up. Then there's a sign: private event only. So it's not for everyone. Basically, it's for the first class, if you will. Yeah, I was not happy about that at all.
Yamaha and Engel and ESP, and did the same thing that ESP chose to do this year, which is make their place appointment only. Now, for the past years, ESP has been look but don't touch anyway. Like, you could go in the room and the guitars would be harnessed to the wall, and you couldn't pick them up and try them. And even if you could have, there was no amp to plug them into, even though Engel was right there. But this year, Fender came back, went appointment only, and ESP chose to follow that apparently for some fucking reason. I don't understand. I
I don't
spent
like
about
that.
all of 17 minutes upstairs because it's never interesting because you can never do anything there. The upstairs of NAMM is just the floor for companies that are not paying for the space that they are getting because NAMM just likes the fact that the big names are on the website again. Also, Gibson didn't have anything. Gibson was supposed to be back. I didn't see a single Gibson guitar at that show.
I was gonna say I didn't see Gibson.
I'm not gonna lie. Except if it was like an amp company that was using Gibsons for you to be able to demo their stuff. Gibson always
Exactly.
is a sponsor of the show. Like in past years, I've gotten a Gibson hat as a gift from the show when we went to like creator events or something that were organized by them. So Gibson apparently has a habit of pumping money into that show. But they were not back.
But they
There
weren't
was no
there.
booth. Fender wasn't back in the traditional sense, and PRS
No.
wasn't back in the first place.
Yeah, I didn't see PRS at all.
Because where the fuck was PRS? I didn't see no PRS. So
Yeah.
all of this to say, if you're a guitar company or an amp company, pedal company, if you make anything that potentially could be worth exhibiting at the NAMM show, I recommend taking your $4 or $8 or $12,000 and investing those across things like sponsoring YouTubers, running ads online, making more product to put out there, investing in distribution. Any of the above are better than spending $12,000, of which 8 goes to NAMM, for you to end up in a basement next to crank cabinets trying to show off your silent product to people. I likely will not be back at the next NAMM show at least, probably not the next 2, 3, or 4, because I don't like traveling 12 hours in order to not have fun at a show for 3 days that should be 4 days so that you actually have time to like scout and see everything. Because
True. Yeah, it definitely should have been longer. I didn't know that it was 4 days. Like that it used to do 4 days. But yeah, I agree that it should be back to 4 days cuz yeah, 3 days isn't enough technically. Well, in my opinion, it definitely wasn't. Cuz like yeah, granted I did explore this, massive part of the event, but there was plenty more to discover. I didn't discover too much with like, the drum sets, all the brass, the other strings, and the all the DJ stuff. I definitely didn't go into the DJ stuff. Um and like I said, I didn't know the basement had booths there. I thought it was mainly just a place to pick up your badge and go. I didn't know that there were actual booths there. They they didn't advertise. Um, yeah, they didn't advertise that there were people there in that section. So, like, bruh, Nam, or whoever is in charge of, advertising. The heck, dude? Like, you got to do something to fix that.
because I was there for business. I run a distribution company, I run a management agency. I
I didn't
was
know that.
there not to fuck around, but to network and do business. And there is no
Okay,
time
that's
for
fair.
that because there is no time to even start a conversation if the entire show is 3 days long. What I'm probably going to do
Fair.
instead around that time of year next year is go to Barcelona for ISE, which is another pro audio convention that I've never actually been to but always wanted to see but never could because around the time that it happens, I'm still recovering from NAMM jet lag. But I feel
Hmm.
like unless some miracle happens, NAMM is not going to see my face for at least the next 2 years because it is not worth it for me to spend money going there, and it is not worth it for you as an exhibitor or as a potential exhibitor to be one and spend all of that money. That money can be spread out across so many other advertising channels, and if you desperately want to go to a trade show and you're not necessarily like from Los Angeles and you don't have a long trip to NAMM, try Guitar Summit. Try something like that. I'm not the biggest fan of the people that run Guitar Summit, but it's cheaper to exhibit at and it's more worth it for the people. I've heard of so many more people breaking even at Guitar Summit or at smaller trade shows, anything like that, than they have at the NAMM show.
I'm curious now. Oh, Guitar Summit is September this year. Europe, bruh. Ooh, hey, that was neat to Strauss. But still, dude, seriously, Guitar Summit, and then like, bruh, in Europe, of course you would, of course. Come on, dude, bruh, you had me, and then you do that stuff. Come on, now it would be my turn. Of dude, you think dude? I need a passport, and then fly over to a country that I've never been before. Like, dude, you're crazy. Kidding me? Get out of here.
Because for some reason, you will just get fleeced in favor of companies that are either smaller than you or that are bigger than you and not paying for the major booth space that they're being allocated. Thank you for watching, and good night.
Like, I'm sorry, but I can't do Guitar Summit unless if they do it out here in the US. I'm not going. Sorry. I sorry. I it's got to be out here. Um oh crap, I forgot to comment. Oh well. But but basically most of the stuff like that he has said, it definitely tracks. Like I've seen it and experienced it myself. But man, I had no idea that the E part, um, so the different sections of the convention center, it is divided into letters, and the place where you pick up your passes, like your badges, it's at E, and yeah, in a sense, it does feel like a basement where all the copying machines and all that jazz is there. It definitely didn't. I didn't think that there was going to be booths there, but apparently there was. And I was also I will say one of the things that was disappointing to me was that Kiesel wasn't there. Cause like I wanted to be like, oh, cool, like the other company that customly made my guitar. Thank you, you guys. Unfortunately, I was only able to do that with Aricitas. But like, dude, I love Aricitas. Don't get me wrong. I really do like those people. They were great. Pascal, like, yo, like, yes, like, oh, good CEO. Not just a good CEO, but a great person instead. He definitely cares for his customers.